Good morning, friends. In this video, we will continue our previous year question series and the questions from 17 to 26. It means we will cover 10 questions in this particular video. So let's get started. 17 number. Alas, what boots eat with incessant care to tend the homely, slighted shepherd's trade and strictly meditate the thankless muse. Were it not better done as others use, to sport with amaryllis in the shade or with the tangles of Naira's hair? Who are Amaryllis and Naira in the above extract? We have to find out who are Amaryllis and Naira, and this work has been taken from Lycidas by John Milton. Option A. Amaryllis is a shepherd mentioned in Shakespeare's romantic comedies, Naira a minor character in Love's Labour Lost. Option B. Both were one-time lovers of Lycidas, the dead shepherd. Option C. Both were goddess of love and war, respectively appearing in Greek pastoral poetry. And option number D. Amaryllis is a shepherdess mentioned in ancient pastoral poetry, notably in Virgil's Eclogues. Naira, a nymph who appears in Virgil's Eclogue. So the answer of this question is going to be option number D. Amaryllis is a shepherdess, and after is Naira is a nymph. And see something more about this. Lycidas is a poem. This has been written by John Milton, and this work was written in 1637 as a pastoral elegy. Herodotus, in his book Ninth mention an Athenian counselor in Salamis, a man named Lycidas. Amaryllis pointed out in line 64 to 76 of Lycidas. It is basically the character in Roman literature, a stock female character, a natural, pretty young woman who was usually a shepherdess. Amaryllis is mentioned in classical pastoral poetry and in later works such as Thomas Comlian's I Care Not for These Ladies 1601, and also mention a shepherdess in an ancient pastoral poetry, notably in Virgil's Eclogues. Naira, a nymph who appears in Virgil's Eclogues and John Milton Lycidas. And now question number 18. So the question is, Evelina was published in 1778. So it was published posthumously. Option A. Option B. Under a pseudonym. Option C. Using the name Fanny Burney. Or option number D. Anonymously. So the answer of this question is going to be option number D. Anonymously. Evelina, or the history of a young lady's entrance into the world, is a novel written by English author Fanny Burney. It means this work has been written by Fanny Burney and published in 1778. It was published anonymously. It means the name of the writer has not been mentioned. Its authorship was revealed by the poet George Hertford in what Burney called a wild poem. Anonymously, writers hide their real name because of society influenced or to create secrecy for mysterious fame. In 18th century, literature was the period of male chauvinist society, so the ladies writers hide their name and used pseudonym on the place of their real name. And now, question number 19. Who among the following are referred to as the Scottish Chaucerian? So, The Scottish Churchians. Option A, Thomas Hockley. Option B, Robert Henderson. Option C, John Lydgate. Option 4, William Dunbar. So the answer A number 3 4, B number 1 2, C number 2 3, and D number 2 and 4. So the answer of this question is going to be option number D, and this is number 2 and number 4. So in number 2, Robert Henderson. In number 4, William Dunbar. See more about this. Chaucer's influence on 15th century Scottish literature began toward the beginning of the century with King James I of Scotland. And there were two phases of Chaucerianism. The first phase of Scottish followed by a second phase comprising the works of Robert Henderson, William Dunbar, and Gavin Douglas. The first phase of Scottish Chaucerianism, which purposefully and directly imitates the work of Chaucer while preserving the Scottish author's own uniqueness. The second phase of Scottish Chaucerianism, the poems Robert Henderson, William Dunbar, and Gavin Douglas, represent a more academic one, which adapts Chaucer's style to the author's more individual and nationalistic purpose. And now, question number 20. The enigmatic castle, which K attempts to reach in vain in French Kafka's The Castle, belongs to option A, Count Alf West, Count Strong West, Count West West, Count East West. So the answer of this question is going to be option number C, and this is Count West West. And see more about this. French Kafka, The Castle, is in my humble opinion one of the greatest existentialist fictions ever written. It contains all the startle emotion existentially minded readers look for: confusion, isolation, immobility, estrangement, and shadow mean of tragedy. The protagonist in the story, K, who by all descriptions is a simple surveyor sent to measure the land, cannot reach the Count of the Castle. It means Count West West. Franz Kafka, born in 1883 and died in 1924, was German-speaking Bohemian Jewish novelist and short story writer, widely regarded as a major figure of the 20th century literature. Notable works: Die Revental Lung, The Metamorphosis, 1915. Number 2, Rear Process, it means The Trial, 1925. Number 3, Das Esculap, it means The Castle, 1926. And Brief and Felice, it means Letters to Noted Felice, 1973. So the next question, S.T. Coleridge's Dejection and Ode opens with an epigraph, which is a reference to a ballad, Identity the Ballad. Option A, Ballad of Sir Patrick Spens. Option B, Ballad of Godifrey. Option C, Ballad of Gibet. Option D, Lee Well Dame Sans Mary. So the answer of this question is going to be option number A, Ballad of Sir Patrick Spens. See more about this. Samuel Taylor Coleridge Dejection and Ode opens with an epigraph with reference to Sir Patrick Spens' popular ballad, Child Ballads, no number 58, and is of Scottish origin. It is a maritime ballad about a disaster at sea. Coleridge wrote in his notebook about Hutchinson and possible poems, can see nothing extraordinary in her. A poem nothing, all the virtues of the mild and retired kind. The original draft was titled Letter to Sarah Hutchinson, and it became Rejection when he sought to publish it. And now, question number. This is not the next one, but something more about the previous answer. Samuel Taylor Coleridge, he was born in 1875 and died in 1912, was an English composer of classical and musician medieval composition. And number 1, Ballad in D minor, 1895, 5 Fantastic Q, 1896, and number 3, Two Romantic Pieces, 1896. And now the next question, Identify the fireside poets of the US. So, option A, Amy Lowell, Emily Dickinson, Phyllis Wheatley. Option B, William Cullen Bernard, H.W. Longfellow, Oliver Wendell Holmes. Option C, Marianne Moore, Elizabeth Bishop, Annie Seton. Number D, T.S. Eliot, Wallace Stevens, William Carlos Williams. So the answer of this question is going to be option number B, fireside poets of the US. William Cullen Bernard, H.W. Longfellow, Oliver Wendell Holmes. So see something more. The fireside poets, also known as the schoolroom or household poets, were a group of 90th century American poets associated with New England for their domestic themes and messages of morality presented in conventional poetic forms deeply shaped their era until their decrease in popularity at early stage of 20th century. These poets were popularly among readers and critics both in US and elsewhere. Overview: the group is typically thought to include Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, William Cullen Bernard, John Grill Wolfe Whitener, James Russell Lowell, and Oliver Wendell Holmes, who were popular not only in American poets but also rivaled that of British poets. And now, question number 23rd. Thomas Nash, and he has written about The Unfortunate Traveler. It has been narrated by A. Philip Foxy, an English highwayman. Option B. Ben Led, of course, Papist. Option C. Jack Wilton, an English page. Option D. Peter Marson, a sworn Calvinist. So the answer of this question is going to be option number C, and this is Jack Wilton, an English page. See more about this. Thomas Nash, The Unfortunate Traveler, it came in 1594, is a brutal and realistic tale of adventure narrated with speed and economy. The book describes the travel through Germany and Italy of its rough rogue hero and an English page, Jack Wilton, who lives by his wits and witnesses all sorts of historic events. Thomas Nash, born in 1567 and died in 1601, was an Elizabethan playwright, poet, satirist, and significant pamphlets. He is known for his great novel, The Unfortunate Traveler. His pamphlet, including Pius Penniless, Pius Penniless, and his numerous defenses of the Church of England, his notable works, Summer's Last Will and Testament, came in 1600. The Isle of Dogs, 1597. And the question number 24, the chapter on the fall of the rupee you may omit. It is somewhat too sensational. Even these metallic problems have their melodramatic side. The fall of the Indian rupee in the final decades of the 19th century is referred to in one of Oscar Wilde's plays. Identify the play. So the option is Lady Windermere's Fan. Option B, An Ideal Husband. Option C, The Importance of Being Earnest. Option D, A Woman of No Importance. So the answer of this question is going to be option number C, The Importance of Being Earnest. And see something about this. The above lines are extracted from Oscar Wilde's play The Importance of Being Earnest, came in 1895. Oscar Fingal O'Flaherty Wills Wilde, born in 1854 and died in 1900, was an Irish poet and playwright. After writing in different forms throughout the 1880, he became one of London's most popular playwrights in the early 1890s. He is best remembered for his epigrams and plays. His novels, The Picture of Dorian Gray and The Circumstances of His Criminal Conviction for Homosexuality, Imprisonment, and Early Death at the age of 46. He is coined a literary movement, aestheticism. His notable works, The Importance of Being Earnest, came 1895, The Picture of Duism, Gray 1890, and magazine The Pall Mall Gazette. And now question number 25. Which of the following would not be invoked? Describe a form of new historicist criticism. So, option A, cultural materialism. Option B, archaeology of social construct. Option C, genealogy of patriarchal discourse. Option D, post-structural recovery of authorial intent. So the answer of this question is going to be option number D, post-structural recovery of authorial intent. See more about this. New historicist criticism is newly method adopted by historicist criticism in the following rules and regulations. Number one, a very expressive act is embedded in a network of material practice, cultural materialism. Option 2, the every act of unmasking critic and opposition uses of tools it condemns and risks falling prey to the practice it exposes archaeology of social constructs. Option C. Sorry. Number 3. The literary and non-literary texts circulate inseparably. inseparably. Number 4. That no discourse, imaginative or archival, gives access to unchanging truths nor express inalterable human nature. Now 5. That a critical method and a language adequate to describe culture under capitalism participate in the economy they describe. And now question number 26, and this is the last question. The titular figure of Federico Garcia Lorca's elegy, Lament for Ignacio Sanchez Mejias was a popular matador and writer. Option B, a spy who helped the revolutionaries during the Spanish Civil War. Option C, a popular priest and poet. Option D, a revolutionary who was associated with Che Guevara. So the answer of this question is going to be option number A popular matador and writer. So see more about this. Federico Garcia Lorca elegy, Lament for Ignacio Sanchez Mejias. On Lament for the Death of Bullfighter is a long elegy divided into 4 parts corresponding to 4 dramatic movements. It was written to commemorate and celebrated the death of a man who may considered the bravest and most gallant matador of Spain. Ignacio Sanchez Mejias was also Federico Garcia Lorca's great friend. In this poem, there is complete identification between poet and speaker. Federico del Sagrado Corazon de Jesus Garcia Lorca, born in 1898 and died in 1936, was a Spanish poet, playwright, and theatre director. Notable works: Impressions y Poeses, matlab it means impression and landscape. Number 2, Libro de Poems means book of poems, 1921. Number 3, Perimer Perimerer can see ons came in 1936. Select translation. Number 1, Poem of Deep Song. Number 2, Gypsy Ballads. Number 3, Sonnet of Dark Lady. And the video is over. Thank you.